Okay, let me open the project. So there is a package which is built in the Python. So that is the package we have to import by using the name as a date time. Okay, so when we want to get the current date time, so we have to call the dot now method. So inside the in the date time package. So let's just check the example. While typing only, you will get already inbuilt packages. So let me store that current date in some variable. So when I execute that, so this X is being stored the current date time. So when you want to take some date time, you want to insert where what time the transaction is happened or anything, you want to update the date time. So by using this method, so we can get fetch the current system date time. So it will take the exactly current system date and time. So even we can use the format. So in which format we need, we can fetch it also. So let's see that in the next. So if you want to access the exact year, so we can use the variable as a extra year. So we'll debug and we'll see. So what and all we can get it here. Okay, so the X variable is created, date and time. So these are all the variables, day, hour, and microseconds, then the minutes, month, so seconds, time zone. So time zone information is not been updated. So on the year. So these are the variables we can directly access it. So for example, if I want to access the day, so after the enter the dot also we can get the all the methods. So this str of time, we'll see what will happen. So we need to pass the argument. Okay, so it is printing the day. There is a lot of representation for this passing the parameters. So we can check with the documentation. So like this, just I am using the percentage A, it is printing the day. So and if I use the B, it is printing the month. So for the C, it is printing the next year. I'll see again. So we'll see what and all the representation is there for the date and time. So percentage capital A is the full weekday name. So if it is a small a, so it's the abbreviated weekday name. So like this. So that is the small abbreviated name. So we'll check with the percentage small a also. So like this we get the output. So whenever it is required, so that time we can able to see this chart. So by seeing this, we can use what is the parameter we need to pass. So we can come to know as per our requirement. So we just need to pass the parameter to fetch the details of the calendar. So like this, we can have a lot of parameters. You can try it out. So creating a date object, even we can create a date object with some particular date. So for example, if I want to create an object, so means I can create a string. So with the values of year and day and month. So month and day, everything I can create it in a string. So but that is the string. So if it is a date time format, so how the date time format will be having in while debugging the code. So we have seen lot of parameters. So in the same type, so it creates the object. So if I use the date time so this is the date time type of the object. So these are all the parameters and inbuilt methods we will get it. So that's why. So if we create the date time object, so we will get all these parameters. So let's just create one object and we'll see how it will be there. So just below this line, we'll create one object. So let's take Y. Here we need to pass the. So while typing only, here it is showing. So what are all the values we need to pass? So there is a year, month, and then the day. And also we can pass the hour and minute and seconds and microseconds. So also the time zone information. So these many parameters we can pass. So now let's try with just a year, month, and day. Day I will use just a 40. So then let's print the Y value. The object is been created. So now if you see both the object, so there is not any differences. So all the object have the same parameters. So all the parameter and the values are the different because this is a current date time we fetched it. So this is the object we created for some particular date. Okay, here only they have given the list. So this strf time method you can try with all these parameters. So when there is requirement, so depend upon the requirement, we can pass the parameter and we can fetch the value from the created date time or else current date time. So if you want to use the current date time, so we have to use the dot now method. So next topic is the math. So math means I think in C programming and in any Java programming also we use the math function. So header files we usually we use the header file as a math and we use the square root functions and some other values for other inbuilt methods we were using to find some square root and all those things. So in the same way in the Python also they have given the math package. So in that math package, so let's see what are all the methods we can able to use it. So first let's import the math. So to find the minimum and maximum value also, so we can use the min and max method. So let's try that. So the minimum value is the 1. So if you want to use the max, so it will return the maximum value. So we can pass any number of value. So the maximum value is the 6,587. So let's check for the min. So the minimum value is the 1. So it's the absolute value. So absolute value will give the exactly the positive value. So it will remove the negative thing. So we'll check that absolute. Absolute of minus. So it is removing the negative value and it is giving the absolute positive value. So and there is a power method. So which will give the 4 raised to 3. So 4 raised to 3 means 4 into 3 times. 4 into 4 into 4. So when we want to find the power of some value, so we can use the POW method. So we should pass only two parameters. So that is the first is the base value and second is the power value. So 5 to the power 7 is the 7,825. So if you check with some small value, 2 power 2 means it should be 4. So the 2 power 2 is the 4 value. Also we can find the square root. SQRT. So maybe we have to import this package. We have to import the math package for this. So just find the square root of 400 and I will print that value. So square root of 400 is 20. So 20 into 20, 400. 400 exactly. So 2. So I give 5. So we can find the square root by using the SQRT method. CEIL method rounds a number upwards to nearest integer value. So when we want to make a round of some any value, so cell will make the nearest upward value. So for example, if it is a 1.4, so upward value means it is a 1. No, upward value means it is a 2. So downward value means it is a 1. So floor will do the downward nearest value, nearest integer value. So which is the next nearest integer value is the 1. So if we go to downward, if we go to upward, it is the 2. So if it is a 2.4, so then upward it will be the 3. So let's check with the sale and floor. So just check with 4.5. That upward nearest value is the 5. So because after 4.5, 5 will come. So even if you give 2 also 4.2, so it will print the 5. So if you want to make downward round value, so we need to use the floor. So this time it will print the 4. So even if it is 4.8 or 9, so it will make round of 4. So like this, we can use the sail and floor. So also when we want to fetch the pi value, So we just need to use the floor dot, math dot pi. So just by calling that, we can get the pi, exact pi value. So just I will directly print the pi value. So 3.14159. So this is the pi value. So this is not only these many methods. So there is a lot of inbuilt methods are there in the math. So you can try it out. So if you just type math dot, so you will see all the existing methods. So even you can find the factorial. So factorial of 5 is 120. So like this, you can check it all the methods. So when you want some methods, so first we need to check in the Google. So what is already method built in by using the math. So when we are doing some mathematic operations. So because we are not required to develop the code from scratch to find some values. So first we should see whether it is already some libraries are already developed. So we just have to use that library. Okay, let's go to the next topic. So JSON is a syntax for storing and exchanging the data. So it means that so whatever data we will post to the server and we fetch it from the server. So we commonly use the JSON files, or even in the previous we were using the XMLs also. I think most of you are aware of that XML file sending while doing the post method or get method when we want to get some data. So we get it in the XML file. So for that we were calling in the APIs, we call it as a SOAP services. So in the SOAP services, we use the XML format. So we have a JSON package in the Python. So that JSON package we have to use. We by importing the JSON package, we can use all built-in JSON methods. So JSON methods like creating a JSON object and converting string to a JSON object. So like said, such kind of lot of operations we can able to do. So let's go through one by one. So this is a very important JSON concept. So this is simple only. So not any complex and all. So it's a very simple steps to convert to JSON or to create a JSON object and read the JSON values from the JSON object. Everything we can see how it will works. So first we need to import by using the importing the JSON using the keyword. So import JSON. So I just imported the JSON. So let's do one by one operation. So first they have created one string. So this is a string. So because we are closing this with the single quote at starting and the end. So this is just a string. So now we want to convert this string to a JSON. So for that we need to use the method loads. So JSON dot loads of that string variable. JSON dot loads of that string variable. So instead of printing, so we'll just debug it. So in the debugging, so we can able to exactly find the differences easily. So now the X is created variable with the type as str string. So now let's execute this JSON.loads. So then it is created the dictionary of 3. So dictionary means it is a key value pair. So this key value pair will be mentioned in the Python. It will be mention the type as a dictionary. So but this is represent dictionary is completely represented as a JSON. We have already seen that dictionary and how to access that dictionary and everything. So the same way we have to do. So if you want to access the value, if you want to update and everything. So to access that JSON value, so we need to pass the key. So just by passing the key in the parameter, so we can fetch the value of that key. So for example, J of main. So I just want to print the name of this JSON. So it is a John. In the same way, we can fetch the values. Age. So which is not there. If we try to execute, it will throw the error. So because that key is not exist in that JSON. So converting from Python to JSON. So it means that so here we are completely declaring as a JSON object. So because we are mentioning the key value pair within the open flower bracket and close flower bracket. So it means that this is not a string. So this is directly we are mentioning the JSON. So it means that it's a dictionary in the Python. So when we want to convert this dictionary into a Python, so we need to use the dumps keyword. So let's try this. So also we can see, so when we create this X variable, so what type it will be there. So after dumping this by using the dumps method, so what type it will gets convert. So I just removed the last single quotes. So it means that so this represents the JSON. So this is the JSON structure. So I can't use the load. So because that is not a string. So when you want to convert from string to JSON, so that time you have to use the load. So now you can able to see X is a dictionary. So you can able to see with the key value pair. So when I call this JSON.dumps, so we need to use one more line just for to see the rest. So if you see the rest, so it is converting to a string. So it is dumping that complete dictionary into a string. So we can able to see this string. So, but that result is actually a string. So, but only in the representation it shows the as a string, but this is the proper JSON object. So this is the proper JSON. So once again, we'll see that. So X is a dictionary. So it means that it is a JSON object. So when you create as a dump, so here it is showing it as a string. So, but when I print it, so it is completely a JSON value. So because there is no any single quote or double quote, so within this open and close brackets, close flower brackets. So that's why this is a pure JSON. So like this, we can dump to JSON values. So we can dump to all the types of values, like types.
So dump, sorry, sir. Dump means it's like a convert, right? We are converting.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So that is the inbuilt method. We have seen this from string to when we want to convert to the JSON. So we use the loads. So when you if whatever the data, if you receive some string value, so but that
Okay.
value is a JSON inside that string. So if it is not in a JSON format, so it will throw the error. It will throw the exception. So when you want,
Okay. Okay.
so in the same way, so when there is a JSON has been created like a dictionary. So from the Python, so that one, if you want to dump to JSON, exact JSON format, so that time we have to use the dumps value. So let's try with the some other formats. You can convert Python object of the following types into a JSON string. So it means that we can convert the dictionary, list, tuples, string, integer, float. So everything as a JSON values. So let's try those values. So first one, it is printed, so that exactly it is a JSON. So it is